Alright people, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification. That way you'll know when I upload the next video and you'll be supporting my channel. Follow me on Twitter. Every time I upload a new video, I'll be tweeting. Ladies and gents, and this is why you should avoid dead elephants by the channel Casual Geographics. Yes, this is the latest video from Casual Geographics. I know why you should avoid dead whales, but I don't know why you should avoid dead elephants. So I guess there's going to be information in this that I don't know. It's going to be fun. Yeah, Casual Geographics is kind of terrifying certain times, but sometimes it's really fun. So yeah, it's like it's the dice that you roll. But let's watch it.
If you can't see it in 3 seconds, you're already dead. Alright, time's up. Did you find it? Oh, not the lion. I meant the hyena inside. So what a lot of people don't realize is that lions actually steal from hyenas more than hyenas do to them. And lions hate hyenas so much that males will chase them down, snap their spines to paralyze them, and then just leave them to die. And in return, hyenas turn any lion cubs they find into chalk outlines. Lions and hyenas are like a Mormon couple before marriage. They do not with each other. So when one hyena was feeding on an elephant corpse and 7 male lions pulled up, he did the only thing you can really do. The hyena buried itself inside the dead elephant's rotting carcass with 7 of his ops just inches away.
It just pulled a
and it
Luke
hid there while the
Skywalker.
lions ate. And when the lions weren't looking, the hyena made a break for it as the lions chased him and made a break for his neck. Even though it was 1 on 7, the hyena managed to escape and hand the entire team an L. But if you're from Detroit, that's nothing new. Here are some facts
No
about-
way, really? That hyena is smart as fuck, man. He just pulled a Luke Skywalker. Holy shit, lions are coming, just went inside that and just ran away when it saw the chance and actually escaped.
lions you're probably better off knowing. The most dangerous time to be around a pride of lions is during a storm, since lions are more likely to hunt when it's darker out. Lions are basically serial killers with night vision, and they know it gives them an advantage, so as ambush hunters, they'd much rather try to catch a body when they know they have the cover of darkness to hide under. On a similar note, man-eating lions are really rare. But a lion's most likely to turn you into a news article after a full moon, because that's when they're typically at their hungriest. Because the light of the full moon eliminates their element of surprise, they experience a lower hunting success rate, which is why a lot of documented predatory attacks on humans took place after a full moon when they're at their most desperate. Lions are typically more selfish in type.
Every single animal on the planet can see a lion coming except humans, because humans are fucking stupid. So when the full moon is out, every animal ran away as soon as it's even detect a whiff of the lion. Only humans are left for the dinner at that point.
Tigers. Because where tigers in the wild are often more willing to share if 2 of them come across a meal, lions are much more cutthroat and will occasionally even snatch leftovers from cubs. Male lions don't always have manes, but sometimes females do. In 2016, researchers observed 5 lionesses that grew manes and started acting like males, even going as far as to start mounting other females. They would also frequently roar and mark their territory, 2 things that are more associated with lions rather than lionesses. And the reason was believed to be
What? So it's that their mane is the only thing that is kind of, in their cultural, known as the alpha male type of mentality. So even female like, oh, I must act like a male. What the fuck?
hormonal defects causing excessive levels of testosterone in the females. Oftentimes after a successful hunt, lions will leave the immediate area to give their prey a chance to let their guard down again, which increases their success rate for the next hunt. Researchers tracking African lions noticed that more than 80% of the time, the lions would travel more than 3 miles from the kill site. Basically, lions give their victims time to process and recover from the trauma just to give it to them again. Now that's tough. Here's the biggest lie you've been told about lions. The king of the jungle is really a queen. Because a lion pride is actually led by females, not the male. Lionesses are the ones that own a territory and will defend it together, while males typically leave after 2 to 3 years. Which means the females are the landlords while the males are just on leases. Sometimes that lease gets cancelled along with the male. Because sometimes lionesses will gang up on elderly males and end both their time as leader and time on earth if they feel like they're unfit to lead the pride. This male was jumped out by at least 10 of his women with what had to be considered homicidal intent. Safari workers did break it up with a fire extinguisher, but they were 100% going for blood. Doesn't get any better in zoos, in fact sometimes it's worse. In 2018, a lioness named Zuri murdered the father of her 3 cubs, and zookeepers never really figured out why. When Lion King had Nala put Simba on his back, they weren't too far off. Lionesses are all a sisterhood, and they'll even get pregnant and give birth around the same time just so they can take turns babysitting each other's kids. It also means if you mess around and piss one sister off, you'll have to see them all. Moral of this video, turn Turns out we've been spelling it wrong. It's actually Lion King, because Simba acting like he ran the show was nothing but cap. Did you know lions are kind of racist?
Well, knowing how male lions are pretty a-holes that even snatch food from the kids, I guess all the lioness see how assholes they are and just, I guess create a sisterhood or something.
Lions with darker manes are considered more attractive in lion society. It's because darker manes correlate to higher levels of testosterone and better overall health. Basically, lion beauty standards mean Scar would have gotten more than he would know what to do with. And according to research done in South Africa, lions with black manes reportedly healed better from injuries and survive longer than lighter manes. Yeah, they got that part right. But it also means blonde and light-maned lions get screwed. Actually, they don't, and that's the problem. Lighter manes are less attractive to females, meaning it nerfs their chances of having cubs of their own. And because higher testosterone makes better fighters, light manes are more likely to get bodied and vibe checked by darker manes. But dark manes don't got it easy either. Long dark hair might attract more females, but it also attracts more heat to the lion, which is why lions with black manes are more likely to have defective sperm. Remember, the reason most animals have their baby factory hanging outside is because too much heat can handicap you. So because nature's a sick joke, the same thing that helps the lion get laid can also be the same reason they can't have cubs. They can spread the seed, but there's a chance nothing will grow. The more you know. Here's why trusting—
Wait a minute, how did that gene survive? I guess it's not about the gene, is it? It's just random. Any lion could have a higher testosterone and black, okay.
This monkey can get you murdered. This is a yellow baboon and he's probably the biggest sellout in nature. Baboons have these alarm calls they'll make to warn others of danger. So if one baboon sees like a lion, it'll make the call and all the others will rush into the safety of the trees. And it turns out other animals like the antelope and the kudu have actually figured out the baboon's alarm system. So whenever they hear it and see the monkeys climbing into the trees, they take that as a sign to peace out too. Now there's two problems with this. The baboons know that the antelope rely on them to not get killed, but they also know that the safest lion is one that's already been fed. So now these baboons will play lookout, but instead of warning the others when they see lions hunting, not only will they stay quiet, but sometimes they'll even leave the tree and wander on the ground like nothing's wrong. That makes the antelope think they're safe. That's how they end up on Mufasa's meal prep. And just to make it worse, sometimes the baboons will actually sit and watch the animals that thought they can trust them fall into the trap and get hunted down. And as long as they keep sacrificing other animals, the baboons know the lions won't come after them. It's like being a lookout but going mute when the police show up so you don't end up in cuffs. And since baboons historically hate big cats like lions and leopards, to the point where they'll kidnap and abort cubs because they're afraid of what they'll grow into, it's literally the animal version of working with the feds. Moral of this video.
Did he making that joke? Oh no. I was just gonna say, did he just make comparison between two different type of animals and cops and I guess, any colored people? What the fuck is it? But baboons, in defense of baboons, I mean, it's a fucked up world in wildlife, I guess. If you don't do that, you're gonna be dead.
Y'all called him a rat when you really could have just called him a baboon from bush. Here's why this lion is terrified, and you should be too. It's being chased by a herd of Cape buffalo. They can weigh 1,300 pounds, they delete about 200 people a year, and they're so homicidal they've been nicknamed Black Death. They also travel in hoods of up to 200, and I want you to remember that number. And that's because Cape buffalo are one of the very few animals that will actively seek revenge on others. When a Cape buffalo—
What? That was so fucking gangster. This one doesn't even care. He just knows that, this other one does not need his help. That's it. He's just gonna sit there while he fucks up on a lion. Look at that.
The very few animals
and he's just gonna sit there, not even look behind what's happening while that buffalo just, fucking that lion up. Look at that. Look at that.
When
Holy
a Cape buffalo
shit.
is wounded by a hunter, its first response is to retreat and hide in tall grasses or brush. If you're dumb enough to follow it, then 1,300 pounds of malicious intent will ambush you and knock you to the ground. Then they'll back up and then they just wait. Because if you manage to get back on your feet, then this black Air Force Oppa will charge and gore you again. And they'll keep this up until you just stop moving. It gets really bad when you piss off a whole herd, because then they'll form a circle around you and completely erase the option of escape. They'll keep you in that circle until one sees an opening and attempts to impale you. And the same rules apply. If you're still moving, then their job's not finished until you are. Which is why one of the most vicious animals you can hunt is an African cow from the trenches. Which is why it has another nickname, Widowmaker. Because the fastest way to get out of a marriage is to tell your husband to go hunt one in the morning, because then you'll go to bed one human being lighter and one life insurance policy richer. This man was Joe Exotic before Joe Exotic. This is Mr. Antoine Yates. And in 2001, Yates was 31, he was a construction worker, and he was the owner of an 8-week-old kitten that he kept in his Harlem housing project. As a kid, he was obsessed with animals. Sounds familiar. And when he was 3, he got his first pet, which was a hamster. It only escalated from there. Fast forward to 2003, Harlem police were called to his apartment to follow up on a complaint. The complaint being that Yates had a 6-foot pet alligator named Al that he kept in a tank. But when police used a periscope to look inside his apartment, this is what they saw.
And after that, police just slowly backed away, went to the station and never speak of this again. It's a fucking tiger.
That 8-week-old kitten was actually a Bengal tiger cub that grew into a 450-pound assault weapon. His name was Ming, by the way. Antoine bought him from an animal park and was feeding him with raw chicken that he bought from a supermarket. And people didn't even start finding out about it until Yates went to a hospital with bite and claw marks and tried to say his pet pit bull did it. Here's where the story gets interesting. Apparently, Antoine had roommates in his 5-bedroom apartment that at first didn't know they were also rooming with a whole tiger. One woman said she was terrified at first, but eventually got used to having her life in danger every time she came home from work. When Yates eventually got busted, his mom got charged as well. Why? Well, it turns out she had been babysitting in the apartment at the same time that Shere Khan was still a tenant. And when his neighbors were questioned, they said he had had bear cubs, rabbits, monkeys, hyenas, snakes, one llama, weird that he only had one, and even a lion cub. Remember, this started with a fucking hamster. The tiger was tranquilized and sent to Noah's Lost Ark in Ohio, where he lived until 2019. And Yates went on to sue the state of New York for the loss of his pets, only for a judge to curse him out of court. Moral of the story? No matter what Florida does, New York is never too far behind. Okay, we're gonna do this one last time and then I will never speak about this again. The Black Panther, not an animal, like, it ain't real. Because panther can be any one of these right here. Because the word panther refers to panthera, which is a starting lineup of cats that includes lions, tigers,
anything
jaguars,
that roars,
leopards, and snow leopards. We good so far? So technically, any one of these cats can be called a panther. Now, Black Panther is just a word for any one of these cats that has a mutation that causes melanism, but it only affects 2 of them. So when you say Black Panther, you're really just talking about a dark-skinned leopard or jaguar, and it's probably a jaguar. Because the gene that causes these charcoal cats is dominant in jaguars but recessive in leopards. But technically, if a lion, tiger...
That makes sense knowing how jaguars are. The jaguars are, precise assassins basically. And that's how, Black Panther, the Marvel superheroes, that kind of makes sense, right? Black Panther being a black jaguar. Leopards, leopards are fine, but jaguar is much deadly.
Snow leopard got this mutation and came out black, we would be able to call them Black Panthers too. Because I already know I'm finna get that one smart-ass comment. Yes, some people call this a panther. But mountain lions aren't part of the Panthera genus. In fact, they don't even qualify as big cats. Cougars are actually closer to your pet cat than they are to lions or tigers.
Yeah,
so
they're no
yeah,
Panthera.
what you call a Black Panther is really just an emo jaguar. And if you're close enough, you'll see that even though they're black, they still have the same spot patterns that the normal ones have. If you're close enough to see that, you're probably gonna see nothing but black neck. I'm actually glad you said that because fun fact, pink panthers do exist. This leopard has a super rare mutation that causes the coat to appear strawberry flavored, instead of the normal brownish orange with black spots. And remember the rule, if it's any one of these cats, it can be called a panther. Now this pink panther has a mutation called erythrism. And because it's so rare, we don't really know that much about it, but it's believed that it causes the body to produce extra red or pink pigments. This also happens in animals like raccoons and coyotes. But for an animal like a leopard whose life literally depends on being able to hide, it's even rarer, and he's right there, by the way. Though it doesn't really look pink,
look at
but
that!
it's like
I saw it. Oh, look at that! That is it. Man, talking about camouflaging itself.
Depends on being able to hide. It's even rarer, and he's right there, by the way. Though it doesn't really look pink, but it's like a pinkish hue. But since leopards qualify as panthers, that's your pink panther right there. Also, we got white panthers too. Not like a colonizer's response to Wakanda, but like an actual cat. This lion has a mutation called leucism, which causes partial pigment loss. To be confused with being albino, which is total pigment loss. And one last time, because y'all keep making me say it, since they're one of these cats, you can call this a white panther and be factually correct. Then you have this white cougar that was found in a national park in Brazil in 2013. When I say rare, it was recorded 8 years ago and never seen again. But mountain lions aren't part of the Panthera genus, so they have to sit at the little cat lunch table with cheetahs, ocelots, bobcats, and even pet cats. The more you know.
Listen, did you know that a polar bear's skin is black and their fur is...
Yeah, polar bear black skin got it. Hey, go follow that guy, he's pretty cool. But listen, did you know that lions will roar as a pride to mark their territory? And these roars can last up to 40 seconds and travel for 5 miles. And since they do it together, cubs will try to join in even when they aren't old enough to roar yet. And it sounds something like this. Yeah, you kind of have to have a good day after seeing that.
Yeah. Oh, isn't that cute? How many people are gonna kill when you grow up? Yeah, this was a really good video, right? I don't think there was much of terrifying, in this sense, terrifying clips, but they were all just fucking awesome. Alright people, that was why you should avoid dead elephants by the channel Casual Geographics. If you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction, there's a link in the description. Check out the cast for racing cards, and yeah, we'll see you next time.